Hello everybody and welcome to episode 12 in my Carthaginian camping let's play for Imperator Rome's 1.3 Livy update. Now in the last episode we were dealing with the Massylian Mutiny and we've managed to just about wrap that up, integrate them completely by force, and take a little bit of the territories away from Massylia as well. This of course was all due to the Asius of Africa mission chain which we'd been kind of progressing through, and that's given us a nice little benefit that we have right now, the Massylians Tamed, which is giving us a primary culture happiness benefit of 10%. Our unruly subject of Massylia has been brought to heel, giving our people faith in the strength of Carthage. So that's pretty good. You know, the Punic culture residents of our glorious nation are pretty happy that we've kind of put the boot down, put our foot on the neck of Massylia. But I did make a little bit of a mistake in the last episode. We had an event of how we were going to approach and deal with the Numidian kings, and one of the options was actually to get claims on all of Mauritania, Massylia, and so on, pretty much all of the neighbors around this area. So it was a bit of a mistake not taking that. I had read it wrong, and instead we actually went with something called the Numidian status quo, which basically means we're going to further develop our long-standing trading links. So that's not true. We're definitely going to be looking to take these guys out if we want to finish this mission chain and create the Libyan Empire. So to do that, you know, we're going to have to take Massylia out at some point. Musulami are probably going to be integrated. We're already integrating Emporia and Tripolitania, so that's happening right now. So we're advancing nicely. So something we have to do is actually build a city at Tebessa. I don't know how you say it. Obviously, TB is not something I'm familiar with pronouncing, but Bessa, Tebessa, whatever. Tebessa, we'll just call it. Why not? So we've got to build a city there. We've got a decent amount of money now. So in between episodes, you might notice we've got a little bit more money than I had before. And that's because I actually deleted a bunch of forts, or deconstructed, let's say, a bunch of forts across the empire as well, across the Republic. Many of them on the coastlines down here, because now this area is pretty safe. Many of them down around this area and in Sicily, and some of them had, you know, 2 levels, and I went down to 1, and so on and so forth. So we've saved a bunch of money. We're now making 62, while we're not paying the boys, making 62. Per month. So that's pretty good. I want to get that number up to like 100 if we can, you know. And it's from such humble beginnings. Only a couple episodes ago I was on +7, +15, then we were like, oh, maybe we can get 20, maybe we can get 50, and now I'm going for 100. So we're really having this big economic boon, and that's what I want to focus on. Alright, so we need to look over something. Of course, I make a lot of mistakes. I'm aware of that. I'm going to try and get better. I really am, and read things a bit more thoroughly. But, you know, with the pressure of trying to, like, keep it moving, especially when I take so long with everything, I tend to miss things. But I am trying to get better at it. I'm frustrating myself when I look back on stuff and see that I missed things, like that event chain, for instance, and certain other things like this. We have Boster Hanid, leader of the Populist faction, the Populist Party, and he's currently got 33 electoral votes for himself out of the 100, so he's coming up, and he's basically going to be the ruler in the next month if we don't do something immediately to change that. I don't want populists in charge. We want civic guys in charge. Civic guys are Philisur Barca and Agval Ahram. So the only way I can think to do that is basically just to slam this button twice and hope for the best. And it's given us a -10 stability hit, and it's given us about 4 tyranny. Now, the other one is Metello Barca, which is this guy, and he's coming up next. So he's actually got a decent amount of popularity. I'm just going to remove that. Again, smearing their reputation, telling everybody he's got a small peepee, and that we get a little bit of tyranny because of that. It's actually a very small amount of tyranny. It's quite a reasonable hit. It's plus 1.50. So we're up to really high tyranny now, which isn't great for obviously the people that are Punic within our lands, and that's going to be, let's see, so if we look at everyone who's Levantine, for instance, that's going to be 46% of our population. So almost half of our population are now getting this primary culture happiness debuff. And then with the aggressive expansion we took on, the wrong culture happiness is getting a debuff as well. And wrong culture group happiness is really big. So, you know, everyone else pretty much are getting a bit of a debuff, and some of the Phoenician and Hebrews, I guess, they're having a bit of a problem too. But it's not that many of them, so it's not a big deal. Anyways, long story short, we're taking a little bit of a hit for happiness across the board, but our assimilation speed, our slave output, that's going up. So that's pretty good, because obviously we want to convert our culture, get it spreading as much as we can. So for this episode, what I plan on doing is actually still just focusing on the economy. My goal is now to build something in every single settlement we can. starting off with the cities, then every settlement, and then we'll get all of the technologies we can. I'm going to leave technologies here because they're just too expensive to get individually until we build the economy and set it and forget it. And that way we can just then use our armies to go and conquer and take more territories, like Rome, Luconia, all the big boys. So the way we're going to do that is essentially we need to double down on money, and that's why I'm endorsing the civic faction, so we're hopefully going to get them in power, I hope. I actually don't know. This guy is so ahead with 33 votes that I don't know if... And we can't smear him. He's basically got no popularity. So there's really not much I can do other than hope that basically now that we've reduced the populist faction so much that our guys will come into power. But we have taken a lot of tyranny for this, so we'll see. We'll, see what happens. Anyway, got a cute event here per harvest. Several years of widespread crop failure has taken its toll on our country. While our people initially persevered with true Carthaginian spirit, now they've begun to blame their governors, enemies, and even an advisor they see most responsible for this, Hanno Gisgo. He's our current Safet. So we could raise the price of grain. He'll take a low popularity hit, or we could seize grain from all visiting merchants, and he'll take a corruption hit. It's actually kind of interesting. Having that much popularity could be really beneficial if we wanted to pass something really quickly, but I don't think there's anything I want to pass. I was having a look at some of the laws. Assembly of Citizens would lower our tyranny a bit more, but we don't have the stability now to do that, at least not for a long while. So I'm not going to do that. We'll leave it. We'll just say raise the price of grain, it's fine, and that way we don't really take any corruption hit, which means we don't have to pay him more when he's in charge of stuff, because higher corruption means their wages go up as well. Okay, so we've got unused trade units, routes at the capital. So the two things I was looking at are we have acquired 3 lots of vegetables, so we'll just take them in. So that's an internal trade route, but having 2 of these means we can move slaves for cheaper, so that's pretty good. Next thing then would be, I had a good look around this beforehand. Olives, is, everything else we have a surplus of. The only things we don't are horses, dates, and iron. Now obviously without going to war, it's not that important to have, but just in case we end up fighting barbarians or something, might as well get some extra horses in there. And get some iron as well. And that way we have almost everything we need for the capital surpluses at our disposal. There's all of our capital surpluses. There's all of our export bonuses. So yeah, hopefully... Well, I don't know if we can really get one more. We get dates, I guess. But if we start doing investments for capital trade routes, we might be able to get more in future. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to do now that we've gotten lower slave move cost is colonize just a little bit further out this way. So this location has 5 pops, and Rutibus has quite a few, so we're going to take in some pops from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that should be enough now to colonize. Yep. And then we want this one to do the same. And there we go. Nice. A little bit of extra colonization. That actually solidifies the province here, which is just, I don't know, it's kind of nice. There's still basically a province here that's uncolonized. And I think we're going to start claiming on Mauritania as well now. Just for future. Because if we put down 2 or 3 claims on both of these, we could take them. We could take multiple territories, with a reduced war score, war cost. I don't know if we can get all of that in one war. It's quite tricky to try and pull that off, but we might be able to, maybe. Alright, so there's 2 of those going to fabrications. And I think we just need to move our armies back to areas that are suitable. So let's get them out of the war zone, the war-torn lands that was Massilia. And that should sort them out just fine. And I think that's pretty much it. So I'm waiting for, before I spend any money on building, I'm going to be waiting for the Civic Party to get in power if they do. If they don't, then what we'll have to do is just enact this anyway, which is empower the faction. And that way we still get the build cost reduction. But if we get them in power, it's just a little nicer because we also get the tax benefits from it. I noticed that in the tooltips, it's actually wrong. Some of the icons in the tooltips are incorrect. So it looks like when you're hovering on this, it says Empower Civic Faction cost is reduced. But that's not true. It's showing the icon for this, but it says Civic Faction. Anyway, long story short, I had some people mention that. And when you get a faction in power, like if we got civics in, then this becomes cheaper. It's very straightforward. The icons are just the wrong way around. Anyways, get rid of that, get rid of that. Starving pops in Aeternum and Vaga. Vaga, what's going on here? Why are you starving? There's 19 out of 20 pops. They were recently looted. Well, there's not much we can do about that other than we can move some pops out, but it wouldn't really make much difference, so we'll just leave them. The looting thing will probably go away before any of the pops actually die. Elections coming up. Yep, we tried to get ahead of that. Lack of commander on the ships. Just merge them back up. Bad research ratio. I look to improve this. That's what we're going to be doing today as well. So this is going to be a very internal focused episode, but I am going to be trying to speed things up and really just getting our money up really high and building absolutely everywhere we can. And then when our aggressive expansion falls by about half, we'll declare war on Massylia and Mauritania to take them out. Alright, that's the time play. Sorry for such a long and protracted intro, but, you know, I like to get the things sorted. It's been a week since I played, a little behind the scenes, so I've been able to look over comments and see what people want me to do and see things I've been doing incorrectly. So that's why I take a little bit longer every now and then on those intros when I'm just recapping pretty much everything. But generally, things are good. An optional tithe. The head of the devout religious faction has approached us with a broad smile on his face. Without a trace of his sickly grin leaving his visage, he politely offers us the support of a portion of the religious faction in return for only a minor tithe, which would surely be distributed to the poor. So basically, leader of the religious party is coming to us and saying, hey, give us a little money. We're going to give that money to the poor, definitely. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And we'll support you for a while. So we could give him 200. And they'll be more likely to back our actions for 2 years. We could say we're not giving it to the poor, and that way we get omen power cost reduced for 5 years. That's kind of rough. And we could do this one where they'll be much more likely to back diplomatic actions. So it's only diplomatic actions. It's not that big of a deal. If it was laws, I would consider doing that. But I'm just going to go with this one. We'll give them the 200 just because I don't want the negative 10% omen thing. So we'll just do that. There's some pirates roaming around. I'm aware of that. We'll just leave them. Oh man, I forgot to even check. So the 28th of September obviously is our election date. It used to be the 1st of October, but because of a death, it's changed. So an unpopular consul. So we've had this a few times. Philiser Barca has taken power, but he has really low popularity. So there's a problem in the Senate. So let's see. What would we get? The division will be healed. We'll take a negative 10% to primary culture happiness, which would actually cancel out that thing we just got, but I don't know if I want to do that. We could pay 700 gold for him to gain 5 popularity. That's a lot of gold. Or we could take 10 more tyranny for 20 political influence to help this go away. Well, I mean, 700 gold's kind of a lot. We're making 61. You know, it's basically 10 months worth of gold for us. But I think I will do that. I kind of want him to gain up a bit of popularity so we can do things. It's a shame you can't just not do anything. Anyway, sorry for taking so long on it, but I'll pay it. I'm not happy about paying it, but I'll pay it. Stability drop from that new guy. So the integration of Isle has occurred as well. So Isle was the city-state that was here. And we've taken them on now. So who do we want to take? We've got the Barca family, the Aharon family, and the Avarid family. He doesn't seem that good. And he's a little bit older. This guy's 54, but he's a populist. This guy's a militarist. We want more of the militarists. And he's got... So look, what we got? 2 characters coming with him. We'll lose some popularity. The 5 that we just gained, actually. God damn it. But sure, we'll give him refuge, and then we'll send the rest away. So the families of Carthage cherish their privileges and will award 1.25 popularity per family denied entry to the state. So we should get like 3, basically 3 popularity, right? But I feel like that doesn't work. Let's just see if it did. See, I don't think it did. Oh well. Maybe I'm reading it wrong, but I thought I did. Anyway, lack of governor now that... So this is the governor that was here has now gone to take leadership in Carthage. So, wow, look at this. Hanno Blossii, level 10 finesse. I remember Blossii. So Blossii we had in the last episode. That was the guy that was killed. Yeah, that's what it was. He was murdered, assassinated, and we pushed through the Blossii reforms. And that's actually still active. I think it's forever. Support of minorities. He wanted to give citizenship to everybody within Carthaginian borders. And it's said that a civil war might occur because of that. I don't know if we're done with it or not. We'll have to see. But that's the Blossii name. I'll always remember them for that. But that Blossii definitely seems to be an amazing governor. 10 finesse, and he's only 17. And what else has he got? He got 7 oratory. That guy is definitely... Hanno Blossii is definitely someone we're going to be seeing in future. For sure, I would imagine. Because he's probably going to... Based on the fact... Well, he's corrupt, harsh, and proud. So being harsh gives him actually great slave output. And local fort defense, because he's proud. But corrupt isn't great. It just gives him straight up corruption, which is not good. So yeah, he might be an interesting one to have in future. Anyway, this guy though, 33, 7. We'll put him down here. I want to save Blossiai maybe until Italy. I think he would do better up there. But we don't want to put anyone in Italy until this guy kind of passes away, and then we can change all the policies. That would make more sense, I think. How good is that guy anyway? Level 9. Yes, he's 9 finesse. It's pretty good. It would be good to give him some experience, though, if we could, the Blossiai dude. But the family's not scorned right now, so that's all good. One other thing to address, actually, before we just continue. I'll just continue on slow speed. Someone pointed out that when you have scorned families, they trend towards being populist more. I haven't confirmed this yet, but next time we have a scorned family, I'm going to check that. That would make a lot of sense. People were like, oh, it was actually just one person, but they said like, oh, when you had a scorned family, you created a lot more populist conviction. But the thing I was kind of mentioning, kind of complaining about is that we seem to be taking on characters that had 100% conviction. Like this guy's got 100 populist conviction. Just 100. Straight up. So he is a Blossiai. Maybe he was in charge of the populist party. I'm not too sure. I'd have to go back and look. But now I'm a little bit more aware that when I'm taking on families, I can just check their party affiliation, you know, before we actually take them on. Alright, untiring devotion. Speaking of the Blossiais, Uramilki Blossiai is cultivating quite the reputation as a man of decency and honor. Such virtues give our citizens good reason to feel safe, secure, and stable. He is the current Kahen, so he's got 10 zeal, 81% statesmanship, 39 years old. Pretty good. 3 stability. Thank you. I'll take it. Alright, I'll speed time back up. Things are looking good. The fabrications are happening. The integrations are going on. The Senate issues ultimatum. That doesn't sound good. On behalf of the large Senate majority, Agbal Ahram, our Kosafet, has delivered an ultimatum demanding the immediate demanding the immediate revocation of all bills passed during our recent sitting on the legislation informally known as the Blossiai reforms. In addition to the revocation, the rebellious parties demanded that the reinstitution of various land tithes, which were abolished many centuries ago. Agbal ended his monologue with a worrisome reference to the support of not only senators, but much of our military hierarchy as well. Fuck. Alright, so our Kosafet is bringing up the Blossiai reforms. Carthage has survived worse than threats than Agbal and his blatant hyperbole. So yeah, we could just say, forget this. This will increase the chances of senatorial intervention and civil war. Oh my god. Or we cannot risk civil war over the rights of non-Carthaginians. We'll lose 5 stability. We'll lose a 10% tax benefit for 50 years. And we'll lose that benefit that we're getting, the 5% happiness. Is it only 5%? It says it's... Sorry, wrong one. Yeah, that's what it is. It is 5%. I'm going to double down. I'm going to double down. I'm feeling lucky. 6 stability. So, they said our military personnel... Would it be the people in charge of armies, or maybe just the most powerful people would raise armies? Not too sure. I don't know how we'd know who might be the ones to... Like, who are the ones kind of pushing for that, and who might take part in it. Well, I'll just have to find out. It's worrying, though. I don't like the idea of having a civil war. But maybe it's preventable. It might just be the case that a bunch of people become really disloyal or something. Or you could just pay them. Maybe you could just pay them off, you know? I don't know. I really don't know the event. Oh, by the way, so our guys have gotten into power, which means I want to empower them to give them the negative 15% build cost, 30 political influence, no problem. The other thing, we have to build a city at Tebessa, so let's do that. That's for the mission trees. Alright, let's let time play. And then once we start building up a little bit of money, we'll start slamming down buildings in almost every city we can. So I basically got rid of a lot of redundant buildings that were in some of these places. There was temples, there was, I don't know, theaters, you know, converting culture and stuff, and we didn't need to do that. Like, I mean, they gives a little bit of happiness, but I just got rid of them anyway, because I want to put down libraries mostly, and some academies to promote people, and then some marketplaces to make the money off of them. Basically want to increase the amount of commerce we make versus taxes. Our tribune of the treasury, Lars Blossiai, has friends far outside our borders, often trying to use his network to the advantage of our nation. He believes his friendship with the consul of Rome could put into use Could be put into use to increase their opinion of us. Oh, okay. Friends. Oh, sorry. It's just this standard thing. My bad. How much do Rome like me right now? Not very much. Do we pay another sum of money to get 20 opinion? I don't think so. This guy can just lose some loyalty. Lars Blasiai. This guy was actually pretty wealthy, if I remember. Why doesn't he spend his own money? Alright, we're increasing our money. We're up to nearly 80. It's working. Because as our stability rises, I guess our tax rises as well, doesn't it? Or no, the unrest goes down, so the output of everything goes up. So that's good. As we get more stability, let's give it a little buff. Speed that up. We're at 60% religious unity right now. Youthful indiscretions. A cousin belonging to one of our lesser branches of the Barca family has been embroiled in a scandal. We could just let the Barca family handle that. That's fine. They'll take some prestige hit. That's okay. Me likey the amount of money we're making and trade deals now from all this extra stuff that we had in here. I'm keeping all my armies down here. I don't know if it's a good idea to do that or not, but I don't want to risk... If I'm not paying the fleet and I'm not paying the armies, I don't want to risk ferrying them across the ocean right now. There's no immediate threats going on, I don't think. Alright, we're up to 80 per month, up to nearly 700 gold. So I think we'll start commissioning some buildings. So we'll use the macro builder for this. Something that I wanted to do is just focus on the cities first. So we'll go library, and we'll see what cities can have the most. Okay, so we just spammed libraries pretty much all over the place. And then when the places only have like 3 or 2 slots left, we'll build academies. And when they've only got like 1 slot left, we'll build aqueducts. Seems to be the right thing to do. I mean, if I went through each one individually, I could probably make a little bit slightly more informed decisions. Like in this place, I definitely want an aqueduct. But I think this will basically play out fine. You know, we're increasing the amount of citizens everywhere. We're increasing the amount of happiness that those citizens have. And then we're going to increase the rate at which they promote within the cities. So I'm expecting to see the commerce numbers go up over time. And then even the taxes might start going down a little bit as slaves eventually start promoting up as well. Slaves will promote to freemen. Freemen will promote to citizens. And we'll encourage the speed of that with the... Oh, balls. Oh, God. The Senate calls for aid in an uproar at our... my voice. In an uproar at our inability to address concerns over the Blasiai reforms, the Senate has formally called upon the aid of troops loyal to the spirit of Carthage. Messengers were sent in the dead of night to all generals in the hope that they would rally troops and march against the tyranny of Philisir Barca, our current Safet. It seems many have answered the call. Let us show them how we deal with traitors. No, not Boods Bedona. It's on the other side. Generals led by Boods Bedona have raised armies and threatened the very fabric of our constitution. Come on, Boods. Man, you were the chosen one. This treachery shall be replayed in blood. Is this straight up civil war right now? Boods Bedona. Senatorial champion. Negative 0.5 loyalty for 5 years. 6% of the total power base is disloyal. So this guy has 10 power base, this guy has 8 power base, and this guy has 5. So 14,000 troops. See, well, here's the thing. There's no real indication that there's going to be a civil war because they're not powerful enough on their own. If we had any loyalty problems already, maybe, but these guys aren't powerful enough on their own. If a governor was one of the ones that went disloyal, that could have been pretty bad. But it seems like it's just taking the people that are in charge of the armies already. Did it make an army? I don't think so. Did it? I mean, this guy, I don't feel like he had an army. I wouldn't have given one to a zero marshal. So he must have just raised one. And yeah, out of here. And he's just coming east now. Okay, so we got some disgruntled and unhappy people, but if we can make Boods, if we can get everyone out of this alive, that'd be great. De-escalate the situation. But what this is going to do is put a halt to plans to attack Massylian. I can't have rogue armies running around getting themselves killed. I mean, I could, and it might all work out fine, but I'd rather not do that. Alright, we'll just let time play and see how that manifests itself. So 17 power base is disloyal out of the 267. And by the way, I've been talking about this for a while. I've been actually working on a little mod of my own, which changes the power base. I tested it out a couple times. It seems to actually work, I think, pretty well. Where if a character is powerful and you take their jobs away, they kind of remain powerful for a while. And they actually make money, gain power off of their money. And they make money off of their power. So it's actually cyclical. And that can sound really dangerous, but it's a very, very, very small amount. It just means that the particularly rich characters that inherit a lot of money end up gaining a lot of power. It's kind of interesting. I need a little bit more time to mess around with it, but I think it's pretty fun. Anyways, and also you may notice that I've been running this the whole time, but I've been modifying it over time. The tooltip mod that I've been using, that I made, basically makes it a black transparent window. I don't know if it needs to be transparent thinking about it, but I kind of like it. But it also reformats some of the text and things just to be a little bit cleaner, and then brightens up the colors, so it's like a bright yellow at the head of these things. Anyway, if you're wondering about that, I haven't made it a public mod, but if people want it, maybe I will. But I think it makes things way clearer, personally. Like, way clearer. But maybe that's just me. But I hated that repeating marble texture, and then political influence, like this tooltip would like go way out. It would cover from like here to here, like the square would be like, you know, that big of a tooltip, and I've just like kind of reformatted everything to be a little tighter. Anyways, so yeah, it does seem like there's a few extra armies now. We can see that by the names of the armies. So the disloyal armies, the automated ones, the first and the second, these are fresh armies that have been raised. So Mago Blossii. Blossii, you know, you're betraying your distant cousin. How the hell is this guy? He's level 12 oratory. He's a current magistrate. Oh, nice. He's lowering our aggressive expansion quite considerably. All right, we've made almost 1,000 gold again, and our buildings are almost done. We've got a bountiful harvest. We could... Oh my god. So word has arrived that this year's harvest was exceptionally good in the territory of Fabetianum. Fabetianum. Whilst the merchants may be holding their heads in their hands, the people rejoice at the plummeting price of bread. People should rejoice. We'll gain stability, or we could just gain 780 gold and 10 support for the mercantiles. I love it. Let's go with that option. Nice. Populists are gonna be gaining like crazy, and I'm gonna try really hard not to forget that. Because we've endorsed the civic faction, so I might even let the populists take charge. Oh, we've got barbarians down there. Holy shit, look at this! 98! What did I tell you guys? I wanted to hit 100. I'm actually playing the game. I can't believe it. I'm actually doing things right. Wow, the armies don't cost that much. It's because we barely have any, probably. Right, with them being paid, let's see if someone will rise to the challenge of defeating the barbarians down here at Massylian. What do they got, actually? Alright, we'll have to get going. I thought maybe someone else would do it, but I guess not. Yeah, they're causing barbarians everywhere. Did we build this city yet? We have commissioned it. Okay, great. Right, so with all this money, let's do the macro builder again, and let's commission... So we built a bunch of libraries everywhere. We want to go with academies now. And this is every single city that has 3 slots available. Now, these are all the cities with 2. So we'll leave that for a bit. We'll just let those academies... Actually, well, now we can go back to library, yeah. Until there's only 1 left everywhere. And by the way, I meant to mention, like, the cost of this is only 24 gold now. It's half... We're basically half price because of all the buffs we've got going. We have the surplus of stone. We're empowering the civic faction. We've gotten 2 technologies, and our ruler finesse is pretty decent. So, the cost of building a building is 24 when it should be 50. And I think it's the same then, we'll see for the main settlement buildings. These normally cost 120 and they only cost 58. Again, pretty much half price. So we're I think anyway, right now, at least, finally starting to be a little bit more efficient with our spending habits. So the other thing then is aqueducts. And this will just increase population capacity in all these places. Don't know if it's quite necessary in too many of the small ones. You want to boost it in the places that have room for a lot. Or that will get a lot. Because these are the ones that might be coastal. The and things like that. If they're coastal, have a port, they have greater migration attraction. So we want those ones to really get the aqueducts to really beef them up. And the other ones we'll just put libraries in them. And that's it. We'll have to wait till we get more money. Let's get some more lively music on. We got our claims on Metagonia and province of Rudibus. So let's do another claim. Senate are totally behind it. Excellent. So if we have a look at claims for us, does it show me here? Shows that we're claiming there, and we should be... Yeah, Metagonia should be claimed, but it doesn't seem to be. It's not highlighted correctly. Oh, but I think because we're on truce with these guys, it's not showing me the map mode for the claims. Yeah, I think that's why. The truce is just overriding it. We do have claims here, though. Okay, that's good. This is like an educational reform right now. We're building libraries absolutely everywhere. And now we're making 93, and that's while paying all these armies. Although, unfortunately, our current rulers have 0 martial, which is going to mean basically, it's not even telling me, but it means that the morale gain rate is just absolutely awful for the armies right now. Granaries raided. We've had this a few times. So this is obviously somewhere in Italy. Let's see. Somewhere up here in the province of Arminum. So we could replace the stockpile by paying a bunch of money. We could let the governor take the costs, which I would like to do. That always seems to be a pretty good option. I know you get disloyalty or whatever, a little bit of less loyalty. But taking money away from governors is a really great way to depower them or take their power away. So it's actually a pretty good option, I think, long term. There's not many ways you can physically take money off people without big problems. So doing so during events, I think, is quite beneficial. Alright, that should be enough that we can take this guy out now. Raising a host, the army of Mago Blasiai is one of the finest in all of Carthage. Nonetheless, he has issued a demand for additional soldiers paid for and equipped from our own coffers. Absolutely not. He's currently disloyal. He's raised his own army anyway. We don't deal in demands. You're damn right we don't. I'm not going to give him more troops and lose stability. He'll gain 20 loyalty, but he'll just lose it straight away because his loyalty debuff is so hard right now. I didn't actually read that shit. That was a mistake. That's what happens when I'm trying to do some combat. Alright, I'll take them out, no problem. Good job. Gained yourself a little bit of popularity as well. And he was the previous Safet. And so was this guy, actually. I think. Alright, Barbarians defeated. We profited greatly from the 20 gold. There was 1 pops captured, and 1 was sent to Igligli. Great, and we can stop paying the army now. Boom, over 100 monies. I love to see it. And then all our academies are being built across the place. It's an educational reform. And let's go with libraries as a final thing we want in all of our cities. And then hopefully we'll start really seeing results in terms of technology gain rate and stuff like that as well. Now we're making 100 a turn, or a month. That means basically now it's only 6 months for our technology, you know? When you think of it that way, we've really caught up a bit. And it looks like it's a bit of a shame. I almost want a harder challenge from this power-based situation. But yeah, our threshold is pretty good right now. If we took a big stability hit, it might not be. 10% of the power is disloyal. If 20% were disloyal, then we'd have a civil war. But we're okay for a while. The coming of the city of Tebessa. So yeah, we invested in that at the start of the game. Start of the session. Which means we can do the mission, the Massylian hinterlands. With the Massylians put in their place, we need to secure control over the Massylian hinterlands to the south. An influx of Punic settlers ought to provide us with the tools we need to cement our influence in the area. So basically we just needed to have Tebessa and own it, and then we get 2 freemen, 2 citizens, and settlers of Tebessa with extra migration attraction for a little while. There we go. So to do Libyan Empire, we need to go Emporium of Tripoli. It looks like next month, actually, we're going to get Tripolitania integrated. We also need to secure the coast of Africa and deal with the Massylian menace. Now, we actually don't need to take anything from Mauritania, but Mauritania is a gateway into Massylia because they are allied. Because right now we have a truce with these guys. But that being said, we might just play out that truce for 3 more years. Yeah, maybe. Because in 3 more years, our armies will stop being disloyal, and it'd be perfect, actually. So we might just wait for that to take effect, and then we'll just try to blow over those 2. And then we'll be pretty much done in Africa. And we can just then refocus on Rome and all of the rest. And we're then going to be, I'm going to be like really pedal to the metal, kind of like we need to speed up now and start getting really aggressive with building our own aggressive expansion, with keeping our tyranny high to convert everyone real quickly, with trying to extend the terms, you know, in the government, and so on and so forth. So things are looking up. Things are actually really looking up. Because I was worried for a while, and I think I am behind, no doubt. But now we're really on track, I think. When I'm seeing the money like that, I'm like, hell yeah. Integration of Tripolitania, as to be expected. Sorry, I was just changing the music real quick. Okay, so the integration of Tripolitania. We've had this before with Isle at the beginning. So which family do we want to take on? We've got a religious faction, civic faction, populist dude. We could also be taking, you know, who knows, extra populists instead. They're all going to come 3 characters, 3 characters, 2 characters. So let's just see. What do we got here? High finesse with this guy. Really high oratory, but he's populist. That's a very dangerous kind of guy. And they're 100% conviction to their factions right now. So that's interesting. Maybe they're the faction leaders, the party leaders. I think I will take the religious guy, though. Yeah. So what's in Bal Hanid? Okay, let's just go with that and leave that. Gain the rest with popularity. How's our popularity doing right now, actually? So we're halfway through the election. Our popularity is pretty bad. 34 and 14. There's not much we can do to make this guy more popular. He's gaining some right now because his loyal cohorts. He's the co-ruler, but it's just slow. Alright. Actually, yeah, we might do... He's not doing anything, so he should maybe hold some games. Gain popularity that way. Hold him in Carthage. Why not? Lack of a governor down now here. So we have nice little sliver of territory down this way. And I might look in between episodes. Oh, we can just colonize it immediately. Oh my god. Wow. We were able to colonize a lot. I wonder where we were getting it from. Must have been well, I guess it's all different towns, actually, because you know you do it from one town for a while. That's nice. We've grown quite a bit. So what are the regions? So this is the governor of Cyrenica. Okay. Yeah, I might have to start talking to these guys. What the hell is this? Part of Phrygia. Wow. The Cyrene are occupying it, and they're in a war with Phrygia, Athens, and the whole shebang over there. And Phrygia are looking thick. Holy crap, Phrygia have taken out Thrace. Oh man, Phrygia is going to be a tough one. You know, we have to get all this coast at some point in the future as well. Seleucids are thick. Moria is thick. Bactria is thick. Yep. Got some challenges ahead of us. Alright, cool. Do we need to do anything else down here? Not really. Oh yeah, just the governor. That's what it was originally. They're already our culture and our religion, though, so we'll put in a Bal Hanid. You know, he came from here, so why not? His local effective governor is pretty bad. It's -10 to tax, but he is good finesse, so let's just stick him in anyway. Let's stick his brother in. Might not be his brother, but I like to think it is. My music is very passive today. I don't know why. I like a little bit more like, I don't know, upbeat campaign? A little bit upbeat? I just choose the music at random because I never know any of the names of them. Alright, so how much are we making now? 104. How high can we go? And then we're just building, building, building. I love seeing all these numbers just ticking away. Let's keep speeding up. 30 tyranny now. And 18 aggressive expansion. So we're lowering that quite a bit. The pirate fleets are roaming around like crazy. So our one fleet here has our 5 heavy ships in them. We don't have any megapolyremes though, unfortunately. Pirates again. We'll really have to take them out soon. So all the libraries have been built and we have some really AAA quality level of information there telling us that that's happened. Alright, 105. Still building everywhere else. Is there any city buildings left to go? Let's see. There's still a few. And then we'll just go with an aqueduct. That's weird. Why can't I build a theater, but I couldn't build an aqueduct? I can't build an aqueduct. Is there a rule against how many aqueducts you can build? Oh, you need a certain amount of civilization value. I didn't know that. That's interesting. Well, we're buffing it up. Actually, go with an academy then. Yeah. So it's definitely not the most efficient way of doing this, obviously, because if I went through each individual city, I could really assess each situation, but for the sake of the Let's Play, I just don't want to do that. And this will be close enough approximation. And in between episodes, I can maybe have a look if anything is gravely needs to change. Actually, something I probably would have liked to do is up in Italy is build more temples, and I didn't do that right now. But that's fine. It'll take hold. So let's see. Liberation. The Council of Aeternum have taken it upon themselves to free a sizable quantity of privately owned slaves. We could intervene if we think it best. Letting slaves get too comfortable could have repercussions. For freedom, our Safet will gain popularity. We'll lose a little bit of loyalty from our current governor. And we gain 2 freemen. Yeah, sure. Or we could say, how would our governor manage without slaves? We'll lose popularity. He'll gain loyalty. He'll gain corruption. But we'll get 400 gold. We don't need the money. We're actually good for money. We're making a decent amount now. But yeah, these buildings are all full now. So until they get a few more pops in here, the next buildings we'll build will be conversion buildings, I guess. Yeah, that might be the only kind of one of the mistakes I think I've made. I mean, I've built temples in these places, but I'd like to have built more. We'll ship those goods to Sparta. So what's the religion looking like here? So our religion is taking hold in this little pocket here and here. Now, we currently have that vegetables thing, so we could actually ship 6 of these slaves over, seeing as they're just starving anyway. So what's the name of this town? Aeternum. So let's take as many slaves from Aeternum as we can. If they're... it doesn't look like I can. I don't see the name of the town here. Would it have to... I thought it would work because of the sea, but I guess not. So let me see about this then. Yeah. Entire province is disloyal. Oh, okay. So this little province, because they've been starving for a while, even though I've given them that extra food, they have now depleted their food. That's a little bit of a problem, and Pops are just going to die here now because of that. I guess I could spend... entice business investments. That would suck though, because it's 80 political influence just to give this place the potential of getting another livestock trade. And that way they'd have the food they need. It feels like it's not worth 80 influence for just this one city, but I don't know. It's the only place we have the culture, so let's just do it. So that way at least they're not dying. Losing our pops up there is not good. Alright, and our final buildings are about to be done, and then we can invest all out in the cities, in the territories. Which is pretty easy to do. So first thing I'm going to do with that actually is just go settlement buildings, and we'll go with mines. Because mines can only be built in certain places, so we can use the macro builder for that. We'll start in Africa. So there. So mines can only be built where there's like marble, stone, something that's actually, mineable. So you might as well build it on it. I don't know why you'd build anything else on it, unless you really just did not want it. But mines do seem to be the best option to go with for that. Alright. It costs twice as much as the city buildings, so blow through that a bit quicker. Alright, we're up to 47 stability, gaining 0.20 per month. We're losing that tyranny, which is nice. 4 tribesmen have moved away from the Mauritanian territory of Ziadia to our territory of Anfa. Okay. Big old bunch of barbarians down there. We're going to have to deal with them. 109 gold, by the way, now. And now paying the armies, still over 100. They should have like a different color if they're disloyal. Something. I hate the way it doesn't show you until you click them. I can't even tell like which ones are mine. Yeah, this one. Okay, so these two. Seeing as we're going to take out some barbarians, let's play a little battle music. We need to raise the civilization level of these places down here. What's our loyalty gain rate or political influence? Ah, yeah, so that's taking a hit now because we got a 0 loyalty guy. But everyone else is pretty loyal. We're in the hundreds actually for some of them. But we could be making like 2 political influence, but we're only making just over 1. So both these armies, they are just gaining their morale back. And then we're going to rush them south to deal with this 27,000 stack. Level 9 general as well. It's not easy of a battle, to be honest. We could maybe bring this cavalry with us. They can run along the coast. Badona's Cav. Be great to get some roads built at some point as well in the future. Can't remember what you need to do that. You need like civic advances greater than 4. Okay. Or not far away from that actually then. Civic advances are on 3 and they're gaining right now, so. Alright, let's go. We're ready. See if we can fight them on favorable terrain. So who do we have? We have Barca. We've gained our 2 other extra claims as well now. Yeah, it looks like they're actually going to maybe challenge me out here, which is good. So we're going to arrive on the 26th of June. And this army is going to arrive on the 22nd of June. So we'll wait 4 days. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now they all arrive at the same time. There we go. Piece of cake. Battle hardened. So that's Aberami Barca. Like Heracles or Alexander, Aberami Barca appears to be the exception to the rule. They say the most valuable lessons come from defeat. He's gained confident, which is put him up 1 extra martial, and if he's a commander, he gets a little bit more discipline for chariots and heavy cav. Okay. Omens. So we could go commerce benefits. We could go province loyalty. Monthly tyranny reduction. It's pretty tempting to do that. Our manpower is now really high up, which is great. Citizen, I'm torn between citizen output and just tyranny. Every 10 months we'd lose 1 tyranny. I think I'll go with citizen output. I'm a bit greedy that way. We want to get more and more money. Alright, let's go chase those guys down. The cavalry's going to get there first, but I've no doubt in my mind they'll be able to do it. Yep. Run them down, basically. Okay, so we gained 16 gold, 2 pops. Alright, no problems. Let's stop paying the army. And let's move these guys back to where they want to go. So yeah, it seems like we've avoided the civil war. We'll have 2 more years and then we'll find out if another event pops up to do with the Blossii reforms. Alright, so here's all the mines. Let's just keep going. I guess some people might have been screaming at me for not just clicking this list before instead of going around, but yeah, we could just click this list. So it increases the pop capacity and reduces the amount of slaves needed for the surplus of the good that they're going to be on. So that's awesome. So even, I'm sure there's going to be a few places where immediately almost we might get an extra trade good out of that, which is, you know, about 30 gold, 0.30 gold. And I think the other one then I'd want to do is farms. Farms are pretty automatic as well, because they can only be built on food goods. So we could just start slamming them down. Alright, and then overall our economy should just be pretty much as good as we can make it without changing extra policies and things like that. And then we're just waiting for conversions and stuff to still take hold. We should be getting Emporia integrated now as well. Yep, not too long to go for that. About 18 months. Oh, it says my name. Yeah, but so Emporia should come into us that way. This guy was caught red-handed. Aharon was discovered helping himself to a sizable quantity of gold. This disloyal cur. Have him flogged, and we'll gain popularity. He'll lose 20 health. That guy. He's the Kosafet. I mean, absolutely. Absolutely. He's a lunatic. No doubt about it. He's currently leading an army against Carthage. Sort of. No, not even sort of, he is. It's just, he's not radicalized yet. To the point where he's actually declared the war. We could fabricate yet another claim on Massylia. We have these two from Mauritania. I could just go straight into that war now if we wanted to. It's pretty tempting, but we'll wait. Like I said, all about economy in this one. All about building everywhere we can, leaving no stone unturned. And then when we can't do anything else, then it's all out war everywhere. And aggressive expansion, once it gets to about 10 now, maybe about just over 10, then it's like, okay, now we can start going to war. And then by the time that war is over, we'll take another aggressive expansion increase. Alright. I didn't realize it actually lists it by the amount of pops in each place, which is it's a good idea to go for those ones to claim, because they cost the most in the war score. So it's interesting to have a look around. Lusonia, again, grown quite big. They're up to 44 territories, 500 pops. There's a lot of pops to be gained there. Something else that I saw a video recently where I don't know what you need to be able to do it. Slave raid? It might only be a Greek thing. Yeah, it might be just a Greek thing. Or a military tradition we don't have yet. Yeah, not too sure. But slave raid seems really powerful. You just go up to a port and take pops. You don't even need to be at war. You gain aggressive expansion, but it seems pretty good. Alright, we're up to 800 gold. We're just gaining gold so fast now. I think we've kind of tapped out around our 100 mark. Pretty much. Okay, let's see what... And that's without paying anything. Of course, when we're paying... Let's have a look at how much it would be. So paying everything right now only costs us 17 extra. It's not too bad. But we should be having more armies and more fleets by this point as well. By the time we start investing into fighting Rome or something. But I'm really just trying to make the best use I can of the current modifier we have. So the election date is coming up. And the populists have like just overwhelming support to win this one. And there's really not much I can do about it. I might just let it happen. It's not that bad. You know, we've done our fabrications and stuff for now, so I don't know if I really need the political influence. That we'll take just a little hit on political influence. It's not that bad. We also just don't get to have our own buffs. But I might just let it happen, because I don't want to be just, again, taking more stability hits, more tyranny hits. I want to actually let that number kind of come down now a bit. So, is there anything I can do with this guy? He's 24. I mean, we could take a 2 tyranny hit and remove his popularity. But we just have no support for other factions right now, really, other than the mercantiles. Batnoam Gizgo is actually pretty popular right now. It's not him, but it's in his family. I guess he's just a minor character. Ugh. Batnoam Gizgo? That's her. But it must be a male, right? I'm guessing. So let's see if we can just find it real quick. There he is. Alright, so this guy... Oh yeah, so he's been leading... He has just absolutely so much money. I'm not surprised. He's sponsoring games, which again is... What is that going to be doing? Raising popularity for himself, I think? Yeah, so he's raising his own popularity. I'm happy for him to do that. I'm happy for him to take charge, to be honest. He's loyal. He's leading an army. If he took, charge, that'd be great. But it seems like he's going to come in second. And Metella Barker are pretty close to him. Damn. Maybe as... yeah, maybe I will smear this guy's reputation. I'll wait till he gets to like 26. I won't forget. I'll try not to forget. If we smear it, take a 2+2 tyranny, it's not too bad. He'll avoid the stability hit at least. And the guy might get it. Yeah. Oh, I mean, no. We don't need their friendship at Tarentum. We had friendship with them before, but it wasn't enough to kind of make them, force them to become our vassal. They didn't seem to want to do it. Yeah, it's still really, really low chances of that. An optional tithe. So we had this again. This again is for the religious faction. Is there anything I can do to give us religious faction benefit? Not really. We'll pay the 200 gold though, just again to have them... Not to have the omen power problem. So the farming settlements and the mines, they take really long. They take like 2 or 3 years to be built. So that's all going on at the moment at least. But yeah, when we start getting more money, we'll just keep slamming them down. So basically every month we get the ability to build 2. We're making almost 1,000 manpower per month. Stability is currently rising. Aggressive expansion is going down. The place is as loyal as can be, considering the situation. Alright, so 8 days and then there's going to be... So I already fucked up. If I smear his reputation now, I think he's still going to get in power, because it has to be before September for this to have worked. Yeah, so I messed up. I said I wouldn't forget, and I did. Well, I didn't really forget. I was actually looking at the clock, but I forgot that it wasn't until October. That's why I paused it now. It's actually in September. Oh, well, so it looks like, yeah, this guy's going to take charge. Our other guy is going to be the co-ruler. So we'll just have to put up with that, I suppose. Not much we can do about it. Yeah, there's nothing we can change. Alright, not a big deal. Kind of made an educated... Or an informed... what do you call it? We were informed about it going to happen. It wasn't like it snuck up and surprised me. I knew it would happen when we buffed the civic faction. We took on way more populist support. But that'll start dying away soon as well. Okay, so... That's actually going to go pretty soon, thinking about it. So, until the 1st of January 520. So, actually really soon. So, we need to just put down as many more buildings as we can. And then, that's it. So, farming settlements. That might be all we can do. Because then, now they're not in power as well, our income's taking a big hit. Yeah. Because we're not getting that 20% extra from tax anymore. Now we're just getting political influence down by 1/3. Xenophobia. Heated debates in the Senate are not uncommon, especially when so many prominent members of society are involved. Lately, a wave of xenophobia has swept across Carthage, resulting in foreign values being regarded with great distrust. All in attendance at today's debate agreed, however, that Bomokal Gizgo crossed the line when he accused Safet Bostar of indulging in barbaric Mauryan practices. Oh my god. If we turn the other cheek, he'll gain some popularity. But if we say, well, Bomokal is practically Kamarupi, he'll also gain popularity. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no. That was this guy that will gain popularity, which I don't care about him. Yeah, we could say, look, he's practically Kamarupi. Apparently, that's a good thing. He'll gain some popularity. And they'll become rivals. They might try to kill each other, but whatever. At least this guy's got good charisma. Monthly tyranny goes down quite a bit that way. So it's not too bad at all, actually, having him here. Not enough support, though, to change the elections. Not yet. I would have thought with that amount of tyranny and that amount of backing in the Senate, which is something like 51, that we could have done that. Yeah, I'm surprised. What else would we need? 80 popularity, we might be able to, actually. And make friends with some other faction leaders. I would love to do that. It would mean extending the term, but it's probably the easiest if you got a populist in there. Let's see if we could do that. Let's see if we could do that. Make some friends. Let's see how many friend slots he has. He's got 2 friend slots. So if we try to make friends with Metella Barca. Oh, he's the current rival. Okay. Let's make friends with Boots. They're already friends. Let's make friends with Shelbs Badonna. And then can we make friends with anyone else? No, we're currently rivaled. Wow, we've got so many rivals. But we can just remove the rival. I don't understand what the downside of doing that is. And then can you just make friends? We're already befriending someone, but yeah, so... It seems weird. Once you're in power, you can just be like, no, you're not rivaling me anymore. It's fine. Okay. Alright, we'll wait until we get to... I know this episode's kind of going on, but we'll wait until we at least get to the integration of Emporia, which is pretty soon. Make it an impression. So, publicly praise this guy. Sacrifice a bull. Commission a sculpture. Obviously, commission a sculpture is only 21 gold. We need to save our political influence if we want to change the law. We need 35. And if we want to reduce the power of the populist faction, which we will want to do at the end of this guy's eventual term. We're going to have 60 influence. So, the benefits of power. So, a few bribes and some thugs will solve this. We'll gain 5 tyranny. Oh, damn, that's annoying. But okay. Damn, that's really annoying. A minor addendum. We've had this a few times. Suggested a small addendum to an often referenced law. Okay, so not this time, or yes. 10 political influence and 6 stability. I'll actually say yes to that. The High God. Our High Priest, Blossii, claims our future is bleak unless we appeal Baal Hamun, as he has had terrible visions of things to come. He has set aside a cadre of male animals for sacrifice as his custom, and is asking for us for funds of a massive ceremony. Though we have nothing more than his word to go by, it is unquestionably a good idea to try and appease the gods. We'll do anything in our power to help him. When we gain political influence, we gain omen power and duration. We lose 1,000 gold, we can't afford it. A small ceremony, or we could say enough with your visions. Yeah, I'll take the political influence. I could use it for a couple hundred gold. I'm okay with that. We've lost our major cost reduction in building buildings, so we don't really need to build anything right now. A voice behind bars. It would seem that Naravas, despite his incarceration, has managed to spread some particularly vile rumors about the proclivities of Boster Hanid. Nobody insults Boster and lives. Oh my god, he's been killed. And we gained 4 tyranny. Jesus Christ, our guy is ruthless. Pious, suspicious, intelligent, and vengeful. And he has nefarious tendencies. I'm not too happy about this guy. Alright, how do we... Let's give him 100. Oh, we're on the medium now, we're on the medium. So we could force it through. And we'd lose a lot of loyalty with people. Whew. Can't do shortened terms because we're part of the populists. Ah, that's interesting. If you wanted to get out of having like a populist empire, you're actually just not allowed. That's funny. Lifetime elections. Forcing this through the Senate will cost 5 tyranny. Fucking man, oh, I can't believe it. We can actually do it. We've never had it at the point where it's actually possible. 5 tyranny, and then we're extended terms for 5. But then we're with this guy for quite a long time. I hate to see that he's the one to do it, you know, but he might die actually before he's even done, which is kind of nice. It's interesting. Friendship, naturally. So, friendship with Shelves. I should be buffing this just a little bit. Shelves was in charge of the civics, right? Yeah. But the civics don't have much power, I suppose. So, ruler, friend of this faction leader, 10%. Neither of the rulers of the Republic support this faction. They support the faction? This faction is currently in power. From tyranny, 35%. Faction has a loyal co-ruler in power. If we had the 80 popularity, we would seal the deal on that. I don't want to take 5 more tyranny hits. So let's try to get our guy more popular. He's losing popularity now. Sexy. Alright, let's try to do that. He needs 80 though, so we really got to choose things. Yeah, so it's like, oh, do we want to take on any of these characters? This is the integration of Emporia. It's kind of tempting too. I like taking on more characters now, especially this guy, 95% statesmanship, 100% statesmanship, and this guy's 100. Jesus. But if we do this, technically we should gain some popularity, but I don't think that's actually working. Let's see. How many characters will we be taking? 3, 2, and 1. I'll go with this guy, Himmelko Barca. Just leave the rest. He actually went down popularity. So, who do we put in charge of the province of Massylia? Or Massylia? We've now got an 11 governor. Holy crap. These guys need to be converting. They need to be like on the fringes of our empire converting. How old is this guy now? He's 65. Punic and Canaanite. Punic and Canaanite. Hostus Blasius still down there. What a legend. Although he's just not very effective, to be honest. And this guy is losing loyalty like crazy. So bribe him, fix him up. So yeah, Cisalpine Gaul. I think it's like one or two territories, isn't it? Yeah, it's not that much. But I guess that would be also good to have a bit of a better guy up there. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, so the Hanids. Let's just check really quickly. How are the Hanid family doing? Oh, they're scorned. So we're not taking him off his job, that's for sure. Unless we... No, we'll have to just put a Hanid down here. It's the only thing I can think of doing with him. He's actually got 8 zeal. He might be suited to something else, thinking about it. There's a Hanid in here as well. I don't know. I might decide that in between episodes. I'm kind of dragging on now. So, let's have a look. We integrated Emporia. It's looking beautiful. All down here. So we've got a lovely stretch of territory now that goes all the way down towards Cyrene. Looks like Cyrene lost that war, and Phrygia managed to take yet another territory from them. So they are expanding. Phrygia are going to be bordering us after not too long. Let's colonize that. Let's colonize that. Alright, these ones are going to be hard to colonize because they are not in an adjacent sea region for us. So we'll have to move pops along. I might do that in my own time. Alright, so a bit of a weird episode. Just lots of building, but I think we've done the right thing. You know, we're making a lot more money now, up to 71 again. We were making 100, obviously, when the guys we had in power were in power. We kind of had a mini civil war, sort of. But they're about to lose that senatorial champion thing on the 18th of December, or September. So just in a few months, that's going to go away, and their loyalty will start kind of climbing back up, I would imagine. I hope. Otherwise, Boots and the others are just always going to be disloyal. So kind of interesting, but also at the same time, kind of like a false start to that civil war. It didn't really work out for them, I suppose. They didn't have the power to really take power, I suppose, despite having the overwhelming majority of the military forces at their disposal. But yeah, so pretty inward-looking episode, and we're quite happy with it now that we've actually built everything we can in every city we have, and then a lot of our farms and mines and so on are now being built as well. So looking pretty good. And we're now in a great position with 12 aggressive expansion, I think, in the next episode to go for Mauritania and Massylia and progress down the next military or the next mission trees. We've actually got the Emporium of Tripoli. So our southern neighbors, Emporia and Tripolitania, are currently under our protection. In order to extend our grasp southward and eastward, maybe we need to take direct control over their wealthy trading ports, which gives us national commerce income 10%. So that's a nice little income benefit as well. So now we've just got the Massylians to deal with. And then we're finished this chain. And we can go for Iberia or the rest of Italy next. Rome don't seem to be expanding too much more, so that's kind of neat for me. Makes it easier, but Phrygia are kind of the big bad guy, as are the Seleucids now after wiping out Armenia. But they're kind of beyond the coastline, which we're planning to take. But, you know, people want me to keep going after that. If we do manage to do all this, I would like to go for further east if we could. Alright, that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.